Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to go a little bit over turkey hunting and the reason why I hate it and I want to quit right now. Pretty much because I decided to endeavor in turkey hunting, being that I'm a new guy at it, and I picked the hardest way to harvest them, and that is with the bow. And Travis is telling me here that I need to rethink my decision, which I am in full agreement with him right now.
His strategy.
My strategy needs to be rethunk because I would have three. Well, I say three, but I'd have two gobblers, one monster. I mean, stud. Another one was really nice, and then it might have been the same one actually. And then the other one would have just been a Jake. But I don't really care about shooting a Jake with my shotgun. I wasn't gonna shoot one up with my bow at first, but the way things are going, I'm like,
desperation calls for desperation.
It's gonna die. Yeah, like I don't even care at this point. But anyways, we're just gonna kind of go over our stories a little bit and like what we did. I'll go first because I probably went a few more times than Travis has just because the way my work schedule is. But me and Thomas went out opening day, and there's not much to say about that other than we got to spend time together. But, I mean, we were hearing a lot of gobbles all over the place. But if you guys watch the channel, you've seen we didn't do much of, we set up in the spot that I've been wanting to go to since last season. And I said, I'm just going to wait there. I'm going to sit there all day and just, who cares, take snacks and relax. And we did that for 4 or 5 hours and then just called it good. Went back to the truck, ate lunch. And that was, and then we made one stock on some that were on private land. We tried to get them to come across the fence, and they just completely shut up after we made our stock.
Yeah.
But other than that was our opening day.
So you had no birds come by you when you were sitting there for 4 to 5 hours? No?
Nothing came by, which I was surprised because I figured some pressure would make the birds move around a little bit. And I do know that they use that.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point I know they're going to go by that, but
corridor.
It just didn't happen to be that day.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do?
So we went and set up, my daughter was going to be the primary shooter, and had about 50 birds come off the roost, and they just headed in the opposite direction of what we were. And it was funny because I was like, I'm going to be the first one here. We get set up, and we went in. It was actually a full moon. And that thing was gobbling in the full moon.
Oh, wow.
It was dark, you know what I'm saying? But it was bright. And then when the sun went behind the mountain, they shut up. And then as soon as the sun started coming up again, they started gobbling like crazy. And the more birds started gobbling. And I'm like, oh, man, birds everywhere. Well, about 50 birds come off this different roost area.
Out of one tree?
I don't know if they were in the same tree, but they were in the same close proximity because actually like 25 took off in this one group. Just headed straight, looked like soldiers going across this big open field, single file. And then about 25 more came out with about 100-yard gap in between them, and they went, and then all of a sudden they turned and went back the way they came, and I never seen those turkeys again. I don't know where they went. But the original 25, they went and strutted up on this hill. We called to them. They'd gobble. But there was no way we were going to pull, 2 or 3 gobblers away from 18, 19 hens. I mean, it looked like a herd of elk up there on the side of the hill. And, we watched them and never got birds to come over. Then we went down to another area and just jam-packed with hunters, more people than I've ever seen before turkey hunting. I don't know if it's COVID-related or if just more people, turkey hunting. I don't know why, but it's like everybody that turkey hunted in California that I ever seen was there.
Yeah.
And we didn't get anything that day, but that was our second trip.
That was your second?
I mean, that's the first trip. The first trip, opening day.
My second, I can't remember. I might get my order mixed up, but... And by the way, that first opening day was Thomas was going to shoot. I didn't even take.
Oh, okay, you didn't take.
I think I took my bow in case, like, if he shot one and another one was kind of going after, I would try. But I was not the main shooter. Which that's what I set out to do. Like I said, is shoot one with the bow because now hear me out. So my thought process and the reason why because you were telling me don't do a bow, that's stupid. You're not stupid, but you're like, dude. Just shoot one with the shotgun. Basically what you're saying is you're too new at it, which I agree with you, to shoot one be worried about shooting with a bow. I haven't even hunted by myself really at all.
I don't know. I just think it would be cool for you, to be by yourself, get the experience of calling in the bird, and shooting with a shotgun. Like, okay, I did this. You know what I'm saying? I'm successful at turkey hunting solo.
Yeah, and exactly. And it would have been so easy for me this year to be successful on my own. And how gratifying would that have been? But I had to, of course, take it to the next level. I'm like, this is my thinking, though. So I shot one last year. We had been working on that bird. You were calling. He just hung up at 80 yards. I snuck around the back, shot him.
Yeah.
And so that was officially my first turkey. Well, then I was like, okay, that was really cool, and I loved eating it. But I was like, it's still nothing to me like duck hunting, which it doesn't matter. I know it's kind of annoying when people always refer back to what they really, really like, because just like my dad, all it is, everything's about elk hunting.
Elk,
But I was like, you know what? I started getting into bow this year and didn't originally think about doing the archery thing for it. And I was like, I don't really care. I know someone's going to shoot a turkey and I can eat it, but I don't really care if I shoot one with a shotgun.
Yeah.
So I'll just do it with the bow. Which, looking back now, I don't know if I'm going to say I have regrets about it because it's like, it's not the end of the world that I haven't shot a turkey yet. But I could have had 3 of them.
Well, here's the thing. I think, one thing I was thinking about is if you would have, the experiences you had with a bow, if you would have taken them with a shotgun, you're like, oh, I could have got it with a bow.
Yeah, and then I would have been thinking.
In retrospect, you're like, I should have took a bow because that was my original intent.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a.
And then I would have probably kicked myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, okay, so let me think. Let me think of my second hunt first. I'm trying to remember, because I've at least went out 8 times, 7 or 8 times.
Was your second one when you seen the 2 fighting?
No. Okay, my second one, that was my 3rd time.
Okay.
What was my second time? Oh, me and Colton. Me and Colton went out, and I'm trying to remember how that went. So me and Colton have been chasing the same tom. It's either the same one. There's 2 there. I mean, there might be probably 3 or 4 different toms, but there's 2 that I really feel like are close to the same, that work the same area. And this time on our second hunt, we went together, and he was going to shoot. I was like, cool, that's fine. I'll take a bow again as a backup. So he took his decoys. I rode with him. He took his truck. It was really fun. We went out there. I really got some good drone footage. And just like it was fun. We heard these turkeys gobbling, but they're on private. So we ended up leaving out of there, and we kept bouncing back to these places that you showed us that we go. And we drove back way down the road, looking there. We made a stalk on one. There was 4 different toms in this area, and then they just were all going uphill. It seemed like every turkey I see is going uphill. I don't know what that is, but I'm serious. That's like something I feel like I've learned this season. It's like they're all going uphill after the morning. I don't know. I do know they like higher ground, right? For the most part. It seems like it. Anyways, and this is a mountainous terrain where we're hunting. It's not like what I would imagine like Missouri being rolling hills or flat ground. But this is actually up in the mountains. Anyways, we're about to call it again. We're like, Colton's all like, just let me drive by this one spot. And then what it is, there's these 2 big trees. I think they're acorn trees. I don't know what they are. They're not oak. Maybe they are oak. Anyways, they're big, well-established trees. And we were sitting out there, and we seen where there was a tom back there strutting, and there's like 3 or 4 hens, and Colton's like, I'm going to make a stalk. And it's already on public ground. So I was like, you go ahead, dude, because we had been kind of hiking all over.
Yeah.
I was like, go ahead, I'll watch you, because I could see the whole thing unfold.
Okay.
And he made a stalk and ended up taking a shot. It was kind of a far shot, and he ended up, his broadhead, the Rage, it just shot, like he said, like 10, 15 yards to the right. Like he don't even know what happened. He goes, I'll never shoot those again. And then that was it. And so that was the end of my second. But it was still fun.
Yeah. And that was, you guys went during the week, right?
During the week.
That wasn't a weekend.
That was nice. And that's the thing about me and Colton's schedules. We have weekdays off.
Yeah.
Because he's in medical school and medical.
Yeah.
And then I'm in the medical / EMS type of field. So I have a lot of weekdays. And that's my favorite time to hunt, obviously, because of less pressure.
Yeah, less pressure. Yeah. But, so we could only hunt on I can only hunt on weekends.
Right.
So the second weekend, my buddy Josh and I and my dad and Talon went out. Talon was the caller. And we got set up early, heard birds, and we got the video of it.
Mm-hmm.
That coyote came in. I mean, he came right away. I was like, oh, that coyote's going to blow everything up.
Right.
Because we heard turkey's calling before we even seen that coyote.
So he was coming into the calling. Is that why?
I don't know. I don't know if he was just transitioning through that area, but he hung around there for a while. He was looking, and
cool,
Josh was doing the mouse squeak with his hand, and so then he left, and then it wasn't probably 10 minutes. Turkey started gobbling, and he came up on top of that ridge, and he just went back and forth, and I thought he was going to come for sure because he was gobbling his head off. He was all by himself, and he wouldn't come. He just hung up on that ridge, and the sun was strutting, gobbling, and then he went over the hill. I guess Talon had ran up there and looked over the hill to see where he's at, and he seen a gobbler with some hens, and that other gobbler went down to where they were at. So they kind of took him away, and I know he's seen the decoys he had to, but they weren't moving. So I don't know what his issue was. And so then we left and went over to another spot and got out, heard a gobbler, started down this off this hill. I came up the other side, and he was over there underneath this oak tree about 200 yards away. And I'm like, get down. And so we started sneaking along this gully to the right, and a hen ran right in front of us. I was like, they must have seen us, or the gobbler's coming. And then looked a little bit, didn't see anything, and it was kind of a flat, open area. And so we went, and there were some trees, and we got set down, Talon hit the call. I mean, it wasn't 20 seconds. Boom, his gobbler fires off, and then he pops up and
too close, wasn't ready.
Yeah, Josh, he had his gun up to his shoulder, but he had his hand down by his side.
Yeah.
And the gobbler came in from his right side, and he was sitting down, so he couldn't swing towards the gobbler. And he came in, and he started going behind a tree. And my dad was actually sitting behind us in the angle he was at. He could have shot it if it went behind the tree and came out on the other side. He would have had a straight shot. But all of a sudden, the turkey went back to the left and walked there, gobbled, and Josh put the hammer down on him finally. So that was
the
cool.
Second or third shot?
The first shot, he hit it.
He did?
And I thought he hit it. He hit it on the right shoulder.
Oh.
He's like, it went across his head. We hit it in the shoulder, and the bird takes off flying. It was moving.
Oh, it was flying.
It was flying.
Oh.
That thing was hooking
it. You couldn't
it.
tell because it wasn't in the frame.
And it seems like forever when I'm saying before he shoots again, but it's really fast in the video. It's like boom, boom, boom. And it took off flying. Boom, he shot at it. And I think he missed the second shot. And the next shot, he hit it in the other shoulder and dropped it. So he hit it and broke both wings. But and it killed it. The second shot was flopping around. We went over there. Tell him put the hill to him. But that was fun. And then after that, the turkeys kind of shut up. They just quit gobbling. There was birds all around us in the morning.
All over the place, huh?
All over the place, I heard turkeys.
You just basically had to pick which one you wanted to go after.
Yeah, okay, let's go over here.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, there was turkeys everywhere.
How many acres has he got over there?
I don't know. They probably got, I don't know, a bunch.
That's what I need to do on
7,000 or 8,000 probably or more.
I need to, if I can get, my flight gets back early enough next Saturday from Denver, I gotta see if he'll take me out there.
He's not gonna be home.
He's not?
No.
You already checked?
He's not gonna be home.
Where's he going?
He's got to go
back to Denver or Colorado.
He's going somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, let's see. So that was good footage, by the way. Travis filmed that. He did a really good job.
I could have did better. But
if Josh would have killed him in the first shot.
Well, if he would have killed him when I had him in the frame.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get that. No, he did really good, though. And like you said, you could tell how fast he came up because Talon was telling him to get ready, and I don't think Josh was fully believing.
Yeah, and I couldn't adjust. I couldn't reach my hand up there and adjust the zoom.
No, I'm talking about before he first popped his head up.
Oh, he was fast.
Because Talon told me, Josh wasn't thinking he was coming, and he's like, get ready, and he wasn't getting ready, and then all of a sudden, bam.
Yeah, he was right there. His
head was up, cool
he was
footage.
Looking right at us.
Him coming across that hole.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
How far was that initially when he popped up? I can't tell.
I'd say he's about 125 yards away.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, out of that goalie. Yeah.
Well, my third... This is the heartbreaker.
Maybe not even that far. I don't know.
No. So my third trip, it was solo. That's the first time I've ever went by myself. I can't remember what I did in the morning, though. Oh, I know what I did. I sat up by this tree, and I sat there for a couple hours, but they were gobbling down to my left. I thought they were going to work their way up past me. They never did. Because my goal this year was to be more patient, or be patient, because I feel like a lot of guys I watch, like the Hunting Public, that's what they talk about. And then there's times that you need to move in, whatever. But I was like, okay, I just want to stalk these things and just get aggressive. But I know you can't always do that. But it didn't work out that way. So I ended up jumping my truck, just saying I'm gonna make a loop and then I'm headed home. Like sometimes I'm not on all day. I'm just like 10, 11 o'clock ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I drive down and I see something in this field, and I'm like, it's probably 400 plus, maybe more away, and I have good eyes, but I mean that's enough.
You're kind of wondering. It's not something big.
It's a mass of something, and like every once in a while I get a flash of a fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, it's some part of that's a turkey.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought my initial thoughts were when I seen this, because like it's 400 or 500 yards away, and I'm seeing something roll around in this field in the meadow, and I stop. I don't know why I just didn't keep driving, but I stop and I'm like, grab my camera and I'm zooming in on it, and even with the 20 power zoom, I was like, I still couldn't tell. Like I know it's a turkey, but I thought a coyote. I thought like a predator had a turkey and they were fighting around and he was trying to kill it. That's what my initial thoughts were. Then I was like, I got to get closer. So I step on the gas real quick, go drive up another couple hundred yards, zoom back in again. I'm like, oh, it's two toms fighting. And they're both massive birds. I mean, they both got gnarly beards. It's not like...
Yeah.
And that's probably why they fought like they did, because it's not like a Jake and Tom. It's like two studs, fighting it out. Dude, I don't know how long they were fighting in that field, but I watched them for 10, 15 minutes. And what they were doing is, like, say this is their heads and their necks. They weren't like beak to beak. They were like this. Like wrapped necks
like
almost.
Snakes or something.
Like snakes, yeah. And then they were chest to chest. And like, what I don't understand, I still to this day, I want to ask someone like some turkey guru, is they were chest to chest. And every once in a while, one would knock the other one over, but they never came. I don't know how that's possible. Like, honest to God, when I figured out it was two toms, then I was like, I think they're stuck together. Like, honest to God, that's what it looked like. Because they would fall over, and the other one would go with it, and they'd stand back up together.
Huh.
And I don't know if that had something to do with their heads being locked, so they wouldn't come apart. It was trippy, dude. Did you watch?
Yeah, I did watch it. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so I watched that, and then
like a shoving match.
It clicked in my head. I was like, what am I doing? I need to like jam in there. They're so focused on fighting. So I was like, okay, no more video than that. I just slammed around, jumped out. I'm basically running across this meadow with my bow. I didn't take anything with me but my bow. I think I threw my GoPro on my head. Well, as I'm running, it drops down to this little gully and then goes flat again. Well, when I did, all of a sudden I see something move, and it's like hens. I don't know how they didn't see me or hear me. I run over this tree before they come up enough to see me. I get in the shadow of this big tree, and I'm on one knee, and sure enough, those dumb birds, I know I could have made it over there before that gobbler, and it makes me wonder, I wonder if I would have killed them that time. But these hens bust me. They never, when I say bust me, they didn't see me, but they bust me as in they ruined my plan, basically. And they fed up till 20, 15 yards. Never seen me. I don't know how, because I wasn't against the tree. I was away from it, but I was in the shadows. And I had all that. Sitka, what's that color called?
Optifade?
The green, black, and tan, whatever. Subalpine.
Okay.
And I was on my knee, and I froze. I was like in the worst position too. My leg was hurting so bad. And it was four hens. They ended up feeding off. They look like they're looking at me, and then just feed off and fed off. So then I made a bolt again. But by the time I started to bolt, that Tom had whipped that other one, and he was like limping off. I don't know. He must have hurt him or something. And he was strutting stuff up the hill. The hens were going like this, and he was like, knew they were up there, and he was angling towards them. It's stinking too late, dude. They totally ruined it, because I'm telling you, I was going to that tree. Not that I knew he would go up there. And he might not have. If I would have ran by there and those hens weren't going up there, maybe he would have never went up there. I don't know. But I would have been 5 yards from the dude. I mean, because he went right in between those two massive trees. And then I ended up making a stalk on him up to 45 yards, and then they spotted me and took off. But that was it for that day. But it was at least cool to see like I said, he was 45 yards away. If I had a shotgun, I would have killed him. And he was a big bird. But again, bow.
Different scenario.
Which I wasn't too frustrated about not having a shotgun then. But anyways, that was my third trip.
Your third trip. The third trip we went on, it was on a Friday. And called my dad up. I was like, hey, let's run up there and see if we can find a turkey. And so got up there and hit a couple spots. Didn't hear anything gobble. Driving down the road, there's a big old monster Tom standing right on the side of the road. I mean, like a Boone and Crockett ground scraper beard. So we go up and set up and call. He gobbled like, we said there like 2 hours. He gobbled once.
Did you glass him or did you?
No, I seen him off the side of the road. And so he was on private and we got up on public, but I knew where he was at. And it took about an hour before he gobbled. Then we waited another hour. He gobbled once. Never came in. So we're like, oh, maybe he's not ready.
Mm.
So we took off, looked around, drove around, looked at some other spots, didn't hear anything, and came back. He's still in the same spot. And the hen runs across the road in front of us. So I'm like, well, let's go around here and we'll get set up. And maybe with that hen leaving, he'll be fired up. And so we got set up. Hit the call. Boom, he fires off. I'm like, okay, he's going to come. He's interested. Hit the call again. Boom, he fires off. Wait about 5 minutes, hit the call. Nothing. Wait, 5 minutes, hit the call. Nothing. Sit there another, whatever long. We sat there probably another hour. Never heard him again. And so I told my dad, I go, we'll walk down to the road and I'll go get the truck. And so I'm walking back to the truck, look off the hill, and there's 4 turkeys walking up the hill towards me. They're probably about 125 yards away. Get behind this tree, hit the call, gobblers.
Oh my goodness.
Hit the call again. Woo! And he's like, looking. I waited about, 2 or 3 minutes, hit the call again. Woo! I'm like, so I run down the hill trying to find my dad. It's like, well, this guy's interested, we can pull him up this hill and shoot him. Couldn't find my dad. Looked, couldn't find him. Hollered for him. Whistled.
Caw-caw!
Yeah.
Trying to make it
noises, just to get his attention.
Yeah.
And never did. Walk back up the hill. So I'm getting my exercise.
Yes.
And turkeys further up the hill. Hit the call, gobbles.
So they started going back uphill?
They were coming up the hill towards, like, kind of angling away from me.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I was like, well, I can't find my dad. I don't have a gun. Mm-hmm. So I just went back, got in the truck, drove down there and told him, like, man, I was trying to find you. This turkey, we could have called him,
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, I got to go to this thing tonight. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So we just left. We didn't even. So
you didn't really get to spend much time then.
Well, we were up there probably for 4 hours, but nothing happened. I mean, the one gobbler was unresponsive.
Yeah.
And then when I did get to respond, we had to leave. So.
And he wasn't even around.
Yeah.
The guy with the gun wasn't.
Yeah, my dad wasn't even there. So.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a gun.
Yeah.
So I was like.
Man.
Yeah.
Mine is the biggest heartbreak of them all. I don't have much after this, so I don't know how many you. Have you won any more since?
Nope. Okay. I haven't won since.
So I guess we'll end with the heartbreaker. So.
Is this something that we're going to get to see, like.
I don't know. It's on video.
It's the true essence of your turkey season, though.
It is. That is true. The only issue, I think what I'll do is I'll probably throw it on a video if I ever get successful this season. Even if it's a shotgun, I'll throw it at the beginning and then I'll have the regular. Dude, I'm over it now, but it took me like 2 or 3 days. I was depressed. I was like, I can't believe this stupid thing affected me this bad. I think because I'd been putting a ton of time in. And, well, anyway, so this is what happened. So, let me think. Looking back at this, everything went perfect. How often does everything go perfect in hunting? Very rare. Very rare. It's always something. Duck hunting, it's if we were over there, they would have been in our face all day. If the wind would have been blown this way. I mean, it's always one little thing, and you can still be successful in duck hunting.
Yeah.
But turkey.
It wasn't like the perfect scenario, though. Like.
No.
Yeah.
But in turkey hunting, I feel like a lot of things have to come together to be successful. Like, I feel like because duck hunting, there's so many different opportunities.
Yeah.
Whereas turkey hunting, there may only be that one.
Yeah. You may only get one.
And it may be that 1 out of 5 hunts.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I'm not saying it's like that.
Depends on where you're at. Yeah.
Well, anyways, so I got up again. I'm solo. I'm trying to think. Thomas let me borrow his decoys. He had a hen and a 3/4 strut jig. Threw those on. I grabbed my camera. I didn't leave too early. I knew exactly where I was going to go. I didn't know where I was going to set up, but I knew like right in that area vicinity. So I left. I wanted to leave at 5:30. I ended up not leaving my house till 6. Got there about 7:30. It took me like 15 minutes to walk in. I didn't have a blind. I had my boat, and the meanwhile, all you've been saying was, you need a blind. You're not going to kill him without a blind. Remember, he kept saying that.
It's hard. I mean,
no, it is. It's well known. You can look anywhere. I mean, like Colton sent me this the other day. 50 turkey kills in 3 minutes. We're making this harder than it really is. I'm like, dude, they're all 5 to 10 yards away, and they're in blinds.
Yeah,
we're like hunting without any blinds, and we're taking 20, 30 yard shots, 40 sometimes, without a blind. Okay. I didn't have a blind today. Didn't have time to go pick it up for Colin. I didn't have my own, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna use nature to my advantage. Just like Duck. I'm gonna use shadows. I'm gonna use camouflage. I'm gonna use the sun. I'm trying in my mind. I'm thinking, playing this over my head, and it was a nice sunny day, perfect turkey weather. I get there, and I don't see or hear anything anywhere in that whole area when I'm driving in. And I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. I know they're here, and I know they're going to come out. Like, I was very, very confident. It took me like 10 minutes to get to the spot. And when I got there, I did some very analytical thinking while I did, for real. It's like, okay, I'm like standing in the spot where I know the toms will strut, like the strut zone, and that they'll feed and scratch because there's a lot of scratch marks in there all over under that tree. So I'm like looking around, and my first thing is, okay, before I set my decoys up, I'm going to look where I need him to be hidden. So now I'm standing under those trees, and I'm looking at a little drop off, and then there's a brush all along this whole spot where it drops off. And I was going to set up in this one spot that was a little bit closer, and I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, sometimes they do come down this gully and up it into this tree. If they do that, I don't even know how I'll be able to draw back. They'll be so close. And I'm not in a blind.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I had my stuff all over there, and then I kept looking at it. I'd walk over to where I thought I'd put the decoys. I'm looking back at that. Then I walk over there, look back. I was taking some time because nothing was sounding off anyways, and I didn't see nothing. And I'm like, I don't like it. I don't know. It's just not. I don't think this is going to work. So I moved to the next tree over. And like I said, it just dropped. So where the tree is flat, and where I was at, I was like sitting like this. So I kind of had that to my advantage where they couldn't see me.
Yeah, the slope of the hill.
Yeah. And I was by a big tree and a bush, and I was in the shadows. And so I was like, okay, I'm like, how far do I want to shoot? I don't want to get too far away from that tree, though, because they like being under the tree. But to put myself in range, which was 30 yards, I was like, I had to put it quite a ways away from that tree. And I was like, man, I don't really like that because I know they like the tree. But I was like, well, they'll probably come to it if he's aggressive enough. So I set it up. I ranged it. So now here was the problem. I ranged it, but there's this little grassy, sticky type. They're kind of like sticks, but they're thin enough to, I think when they were alive, they were probably like a type of grass.
Yeah.
But then they die and get like a stick.
Hard.
Yeah. And they're about 1.5 to 2 feet tall. Well, I stuck the Jake in. I stuck the hen in. I ranged it. I got 30 yards. But then I would get randomly, I'd get like 28, and then I'd get like 33. And I'm like, what's going on? I go, it's probably picking these dumb sticks up, my rangefinder. Dude, I ranged that. I can't tell how many times I've ranged that thing. And I'm telling you right now, the day before, 30 yards, I sent it on the Marco to those guys. I was sticking them like this from 30. I mean, multiple times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my bow's on, 20, 30, 40. I'm good. Now that is shooting at a target, not an actual. And I've talked to Connor about this last night. You're focusing on a spot, a white spot, a red spot, a black spot. Whereas on an animal, it's all one color. Sometimes it's hard mentally to focus somewhere and pick a feather.
Yeah.
Out. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I'm bringing up the point of the rangefinder because I know I was picking up that other stuff, and so I really believe that Jake decoy was 33 yards, 33 to 34. So that being said, I call once with the box call. I'm terrible at calling. The gobbler sounds off to my left, and he sounds like I know he's coming because he sounded off 3 times, and it was way far away. It wasn't just that he was turned away from me. He was just coming, and he was close. Dude, I'm like, okay, any minute I'm going to see him. I'm like kind of looking around. Well, when I get up on my knees to look, I hear, but, And I'm like, oh no. I'm like hoping that's just a hen because me and our talent seen a Jake do that the other day.
Putt? Yeah, they'll putt.
No, a Tom.
They'll putt.
And it sounds just like a hen. Don't they have a little different of a putt?
It's like, what? It's like a weird sound.
Different than a hen? Can you tell the difference?
No, I mean, when they make that sound, I mean,
it just
you know what that sound means. They're gone.
So they all sound the same.
Yeah, I think when they do that, it sounds the same.
Because that happened to me on Saturday. That was a big Tom. It was a decent Tom, but he was putting. We thought it was a hen, and we looked back and we're like, oh, that was our one opportunity. But anyways, I heard that and I froze, and I thought it was only hens that did that. And I'm like, okay, it's just a hen, but what if a Tom is with her? So I didn't move because I'm looking this way, and it's over here by my decoys. And I just slowly, like it took me a minute to turn all the way where I could look, and it was a hen by herself. She come up out of the hills somewhere. I never seen her come in. And when she started doing that, he was gobbling all up until that point. When she started doing that, he must have been a lot closer than I thought he was because I never heard of him again and never seen him again.
Huh.
I don't know what happened. She fed off, and she goes down to where what happens is she goes down this gully. All of a sudden, way over this ridge, a gobbler sounds off. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, I ain't no good caller, so I ain't going to be able to call something in from that far. Well, I hit the box call loud, like as hard as I can because I know it's got to carry, and I'm just like hitting it. And he sounds off right after it did it. I'm like, what's the odds that did he really hear that? Or is it just timed that right? Because, I mean, that's a long ways away. So I just stopped calling. Well, all of a sudden, I see her go down that gully. It disappears. All of a sudden, now she comes up, and I'm like, great. If he does come, she's going to totally ruin this for me.
She'll pull him
away. Well, she hangs up right there on the lawn, and I'm just sitting there watching her. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, he's close. Like, he's on the ridge. I couldn't see him yet, but he's on the ridge. Like, I know he's on the ridge now. And she, like, looks up. I see her look up and watching the whole time through the camera. She looks up and then turns left. Like, if I'm looking at her, she turns left and starts going back down, almost like she's going away from him.
Uh-huh.
So I'm zoomed in on her looking at the camera. All of a sudden, I see this movement come through. You've seen it. And my decoys are perfectly in the sun. Like, where it just sticks out. His little red head on that Jake decoy sticking out really good. He comes into this opening. I'm like, oh my goodness, that dude's monster, huge. And he's totally focused on her. So she's going down the hill. Uh-huh. He's going down. I was like, oh man, I knew that was going to happen. So I grabbed the call real quick and I said, hey, I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I just go, and he didn't call, but he stopped and like looked like, okay, the sound got his attention.
Yeah.
But then you could see when he's seen those decoys. Because it went from following her to like, oh, something's over there. And then like his neck, he kind of came out of strut and stretched his neck out like, oh, there's that punk over there with one of my hens or something. He literally turns, comes out of strut, marches downhill at a fairly decent pace. And I'm like, oh, he's coming. I knock an arrow. I'm like, I started getting, my heart started pumping a little bit. Then I thought, no. You got to get this, like, get that out of your system right now because I ain't going to be able to shoot like this.
Yeah.
So I started just, like, taking super deep breaths. And I got, it took me about a minute, but I got, because it was like 3.5 minutes, but by the time he went down the thing, came up the dill, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, I feel good. He's coming, I already know it, so I don't have to freak out. So I get up high on my knees, and like I said, I'm down in this kind of downslope, so I have to get really high on my knees, and I look, and I can see the top of his fan by the fence, the private line. So he had come through the private fence into the public, and I could see just the top of his fan, and I'm like, oh, dude, he's going to do it. Like, I don't need to look anymore. Like, he's going to come. Next time I see him, if I see him, he's going to be standing by my decoy. So I squat down like I'm on my knees, but I'm like kind of like this. It's just trying to stay hidden. All of a sudden, dude, you can see his fan going like this.
Like tilted? Yeah.
Like just like all I could see was the top of it going like this. And all of a sudden, there he is, dude. Big old fat gobbler standing right by my Jake decoy. I mean, like picture perfect. Couldn't ask for any better. Full strut, facing me, looking at that Jake. I'm like, this is my shot. I don't need to wait for anything else. I mean, it's perfect. He's facing right at me. So I draw I'm kind of like this. I draw with the point of the ground, and then I raise up high on my knee like this, and he kind of like, I think he's seeing the movement, and he kind of like, you see him go like this. I put it right at my 30-yard pin, dude. Went right through his bottom chest feathers and between his legs. Like, didn't even hit one piece of meat. I actually thought I hit him.
Yeah.
But it didn't have that
thwack
sound. And I'm like, how did that make that sound? I know I had to have hit him. And then he kind of jumped. I don't know if he really flipped, but he jumped up pretty high and then stood there and walked about 5 more yards away. Dude, I don't know. I didn't really show you this, guys, in the video, but I watched him for like 3 minutes right there. I could have totally grabbed another arrow.
Shot at him again.
But I thought I hit him. So I thought, I'm like, maybe I got to pass through, and he's just standing there like, don't know what happened, and he's going to die.
Bleed out, yeah. So.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, dude, I didn't hit him. I go grab another arrow, and I stand up, and now I didn't even range him, which was stupid because I would have had time. And he was like, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 yards, which is far. But I thought I hit him, so I thought, well, I got to finish him off. And then he took off, dude. He flew away, and I was like, I sat there. And then I started shaking because the adrenaline had kind of left. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what just happened?
This is the chance I had.
The most epic, insane chance I'll ever have in my life. I feel like, I'm saying when everything works. Dude, I went with you guys a bunch last year. I don't know if I went by myself. I went with Talon. That is not like that in turkey hunting, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of work.
It's not always a perfect scenario.
It's not. And I'm like, I missed. Like you said, I could have blown his head off with a shotgun like 30 yards.
Well, not having a blind, there's a lot of factors, you know what I'm saying? But
well, it didn't matter.
It wouldn't have mattered.
It came all the way.
You got your shot, yeah.
Yeah, I got my shot.
You got the shot you wanted.
That's a gimme shot for me for a bow. I wasn't even shaking.
Yeah. I
wasn't unconfident. I didn't rush my shot. Oh, dude, I was sick. I was depressed all day. All I could think, and Sarah's all, you're acting like a baby. Like, you don't understand. A rookie, a guy that can't call worth the hill of beans, everything under you can imagine, and I literally blew it. I had my chance. I was like, I won't have a chance. I'm not even being negative or speaking it into existence. But I'm like, I will not have another chance like that again this year with the bow.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
you never know.
You never know, but you know what I mean? Like, just crazy, dude. Ugh, I was so hit and so good. Like, for a bow, without a blind, it was as good as it gets. Because every time I was like, how am I going to draw my bow?
Yeah, that's the biggest factor. I was like, without a blind, it seemed like it'd be impossible because they have such incredible eyesight, and you have to draw to shoot.
Yeah.
And that requires a pretty good range of motion.
Yeah. Quite a bit of movement.
You know? And I'm like, they're going to spot you. And then, I don't know, turkeys, it seems like they're always in constant motion.
Yeah.
You know, it's not often you get one that just stand there and just stand still. They're moving or doing something. So I was like, if you shoot with a bow, that's going to be doing something.
How sick would that? I mean, you've seen the footage, dude.
Oh, yeah. It was
How
right
sick
there.
would that made you?
Yeah. Oh, no, it would have. Yeah. I mean, like you said, everything worked out perfectly. And, I mean, you barely missed them.
Oh, man.
Inches.
And you know what? I aimed for the bottom of his throat. I mean, all these things go through your head, right? Like, I'm thinking if I would have aimed, like, mid-neck, I would have got him. But
That's
my range was
narrow
wrong.
Target, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I mean, if I was the middle of his neck, I'm saying at least you have something to hit on either side of that. But it wasn't that. I was dead center. My arrow was dead center of his body. It was just low.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough of that crying. But that's the update for our turkey season. I don't know what our next episode will be. As far as, I'm not saying our next episode will be about turkey hunting, but the next one we do about turkey hunting,
hopefully,
I don't know.
I don't know if I'm gonna shoot a bird this year.
And Travis got a bow, so that's the new news.
I bought a bow.
Got the Bear Inception.
Yeah.
Double cam. Mine's a single cam.
Yeah, double cam. So
the draw's pretty smooth.
I like it. You have to shoot
pretty good.
You have to shoot one.
Yeah, I'll try it. We're gonna go shoot today, guys. So we're gonna get off here, go take some 3D targets out, and I mean, I had my chance. I could shot the real thing. All of us guys been dying to shoot some with their bows, and I'm the one so far that has had the best opportunity with the bow.
Yeah.
And totally blew it. And honestly, it's funny because like Talon and even Connor and
Adam?
No, I haven't talked to him. I guess Talon and Connor. They're like totally relating. Like they're almost sick with me. Like I just can't believe it, dude. Because you know how some things, if you miss a duck, you're like, oh, you stink.
Yeah.
But we understand the challenge of archery. And so you don't really, I've noticed that you don't want to talk trash as much on that because you don't know
what's going to happen back. Yeah.
Exactly. It's because it's such a hard thing.
Yeah.
There's so many factors.
There's a lot of factors.
So anyways, wish us luck, boys. Hope you guys are having a good time out there in the turkey woods, and hopefully you guys are being a little bit smarter than me and using an actual shotgun. I mean, I could have used a 410 and killed that thing.
Or a pellet gun.
Or a pellet gun, yeah, for real.
I could have killed it with a pellet gun.
I didn't even think about that. I could have totally 30 yards. Is that doable with the pellet gun?
Oh yeah, especially these new pellet guns that have the one that Adam has.
High velocity.
Yeah, that thing would have.
That would have been cool. Yeah, and it's legal here. Yeah. But so hopefully you guys are doing it good and killing them out there with shotguns and or crossbows or whatever you guys use. So best of luck to you guys. And hey, do us a favor. I haven't been saying this much. I need to get it going again. Please go in iTunes if that's the platform you listen on, and go give us a rating and review. It really helps us out, and it gets the word out there and kind of spreads out where it's noticeable to more people. So we appreciate that, and we'll see you guys on the next one.